Welcome on board for today's drive along in the van. We are in Guernsey in the Channel Islands as always, and in today's video we are at Lerray car park, so you may recognise it. There's Lerray Hotel, that blue building in the distance. And by the way, if you see in the right hand corner of the screen, there's a little reflection there. I've just taken it away. I noticed my parking clock was reflecting, so I've just moved it. I noticed it was in the shop, so that was a struggle as I moved off. So welcome on board for another drive along. We start here at Lerray and we end up at Cobo on the west coast. Now the differences today is that we actually drive inland route. So it'd be easy to drive around the coast like we normally do, but I've actually done quite a few of those videos around the coast. Look at Lerray Hotel there, look. It never used to be blue. We actually turn right here and we go inland for a little drive. So the weather in Guernsey today, as you can pretty much see, not the best weather in the world. And it's funny because it wasn't raining until I decided to hit the record button, and of course the heavens opened. So apologies for the windscreen wipers now and again. I hope it doesn't bother you too much. It does actually stop later on in the video. It's just like a thick drizzle. It was quite horrible actually, quite windy, but again it's not cold. The weather's, it says about 15 degrees on the outside temperature of my van, but just a bit miserable. So heading on up inland route towards Cobo. We come out of the filter by the rock mount, and as usual, if you do recognise this route, you have any familiar memories of driving this route, let me know as always. If I drive past your old house or I drive past anywhere else you recognise, let me know as well, because it's always good. So you never know what you're going to encounter on these drive alongs in Guernsey, especially if you are in the lanes inland, because you can get held up with all sorts. It can be big buses, it can be cyclists that you can't simply get past on roads like this. And in today's video we do encounter something which is quite funny. It's come up in a bit, so stay tuned. You can see the drizzle, look, on the yeah, it's just not nice. So we're heading towards Parel Way. You see inland route. You notice how small the roads are. Now if you haven't driven in Guernsey before, this is very typical of the roads in Guernsey. And as you'll know if you've followed my channel, I drive a Ford Transit which is quite wide, and you haven't got a lot of room, and if I meet another van the same size as mine, you do have to slam on the brakes quick. That's why you got to drive quite slow, because one of you is going to have to pull in, either reverse or something like that. A lot of little roads entering the road I'm driving, so you got to be aware of cars pulling out on you, especially motorbikes and things like that. Motorbikes haven't seen you. So we're just here. We're at the back end of Parel, if you know what I mean. If you go left here, you go onto Parel Coast Road. So around the back of Parel Garage, about here. My brother lives there on the left. Really nice location to live. It's still drizzling. Heading towards the Fleur de Jardin Hotel. Very nice hotel, do nice food as well. There's a little church there on the left. Tiny little room, been in there for a christening. Very nice. And we are heading on our journey. So I hope everyone's doing well. And by the way, if you are new to this channel is all about island life in Guernsey and the Channel Islands. And in particular on this video I do drive alongs everywhere in Guernsey, and also do walk alongs of anything of interest. Obviously you're watching a drive along today. We do all different parts of the island. If you are interested in seeing parts of Guernsey, have a look around this channel, because there's a lot of drive alongs now, and there's over 100 I looked the other day. So we're racking quite a lot of videos up, but they're all good, and eventually I think I'll probably cover pretty much every road in Guernsey if I keep going. There's definitely some I haven't done. There's a lot I haven't done, so if you do know of any roads you want to see, or anywhere in particular, as usual, let me know. up we go, up the hill. Quite sharp turning to the left here on the hill, so we've got to drop it down a few gears. I think I'm in second gear, and as we go round we come across a garage which has been here a long time, Lamont garage on the left. Sell a lot of Fiats. We sold a lot of Fiat 500s recently. I don't know if they're as popular. I don't know what it was like where you live, but in Guernsey the little Fiat 500s were selling like hotcakes for a time. I don't know if they're quite as popular now, but they were selling loads of them. And I suppose they're very popular little cars for the island, very small. And my wife's got one. I used to have one. Here we go. Now, do you remember at the beginning of the video I said we encountered something? Well, this is it. So we are following this red car, but can you see in front of the red car a load of horses being walked along the road by their owners, I presume. So this is typical. So this is the sort of thing that can make you really, really late for an appointment if you haven't factored in some delays, because they're walking at, I don't know, 5 miles per hour, not even that. And depending on where you are, you could be stuck behind these for 10-15 minutes. You can imagine how delayed it can make you. But as it happened, I wasn't in a rush. I was on the way back from somewhere, so I wasn't too stressed. And I just wanted to show you lot out there the horses and what actually happens in a minute. This red car in front is brave enough to overtake. I'm not sure I would have in my van. They're a little bit narrower than me, so they probably had room. So this red car in front overtakes in a minute, and you get a quite good view of the horses. There's quite a few of them, and they're really nice. As it wasn't a problem being stopped behind the horses, because they're beautiful looking horses, and I knew they would be turning off soon because there's a farm on the left, and I was thinking I think they're probably going to that farm, so I wasn't going to be stopped behind them forever. They look overtakes, but not a lot of room really. But there we go. Yes, there's quite a few horses. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I don't know, 6 maybe. It's taking their time, and there is a sign obviously saying there's horses about, so this is the sort of thing typical of Guernsey. If it's not horses, you can be stuck behind cows. Cows being maybe taken from one field to another, and you can be stuck behind them for a while, especially in small lanes. And sometimes if they're changing cows from one field to another, they will put like a rope across the road, the farmer will, and just stops all the traffic, and you see the cows coming out one field to another. So that sort of happens now and again. But yeah, not bad. Lovely looking horses, I must admit. They're in very good condition. And there's as I say, there's a farm just on the left. I think it's coming up soon. So from out of here, as I said, we head on down towards the Cobo, to the rock mount. You see the rain stopped a little bit for this drive, but it does restart again, which is a bit of a pain, because it really comes down heavy. It's that sort of thick rain which pours down. But yeah, lovely area this. Very peaceful, very old-fashioned. Always think it's like old-fashioned Guernsey around here. There's still a lot of farms and things like that. There we go, horses out the way. Get a bit of speed up now. There we go. And you can't see this, but behind me there's a pile of about 30 cars, because they've all been stuck behind the horses. So they were eager to get going. So the speed limit around here, I presume it's going to be maybe 35 or possibly 25, but around here you drive to the conditions of the road, so whatever you feel safe really. Obviously under 35, but sometimes in the speed limits in Guernsey, in a really small road, it can be 35, but it doesn't necessarily mean you drive at 35, you just drive a little bit slower. There's a man here cleaning all the leaves up. And again, if you went left, that would take you back to the coast road, but I'm doing the inland route today. Here we go. It's funny because on these videos, the speed of the footage looks like I'm actually travelling a lot faster than I am. I'm only doing about 30 miles an hour here, but it looks like I'm going faster. It always does, I find in the videos. So to the left is the coast. West coast to the left. I've driven around the west coast many a time. So I thought I'd do this one for a change. Sometimes you notice I went on the pavement there. You do have to be a little bit careful going onto the pavements. I think that's the Fleur de Jardin. I think before I said the Fleur de Jardin, but it wasn't. That's the Fleur de Jardin there. I think I was on the wrong road. I'm sure you'll let me know. Yeah, 25 is the speed limit along here. I thought it was. But you can see these pavements are mounted loads. The pavements are mounted all the time. I think theoretically if you mount a pavement you're meant to stop your car. Not a lot of people do though. Obviously if there's someone walking along you can't drive along it, but these pavements are mounted constantly, especially big lorries and things, because there just actually physically isn't enough room to get your vehicle through sometimes. But you do obviously have to be very careful with pedestrians if you're going to mount the pavement. So we're heading on up to the filter in turn. Yeah, I had a lot of comments about the filters in my last video. Filters in turns, someone was asking, do they confuse visitors? And the answer is yes. Filter in turns do confuse visitors to the island if you're not familiar with them, because you arrive at the filter and a holiday maker, if they've never come across one, they don't know what to do. But I say it's easy for me to say because I live here, but you just filter in turn, so whoever gets there first goes and whoever gets there second goes, and you just filter in. You sort of keep an eye on whose turn it is, and they work really well. They work really well if you know how to use one, but they can be a bit confusing if you've never come across one. So if you see a car in Guernsey with a H on it, it means it's a hire car, which probably means they're a visitor or a holiday maker to the island. So that's always a warning. If you see a H on a car at a filter, don't go, because they may be going the same time as you because they're not sure how to use a filter. And there's been, over the years, I'm sure there's been many accidents at filters from holiday makers and visitors who just thought they could go and it maybe wasn't their go, and there's been an accident. They're sort of nicknamed, instead of hire cars, locally they're nicknamed as horror cars for the H. Horror cars, because they tend to cause accidents. So yeah, maybe it's something the Guernsey airport should hand out when you arrive, how to use filters. Actually, saying that, I think they do. I think there is something in their brochure does explain how the filters work. But you know what it's like, no one reads that sort of stuff. They just get in the car, off they go. Anyway, I'm sure you will know anyway, because I talk about it all the time. If you ever do come to Guernsey, if you've been watching my videos, you'll be aware of the filters by now, because I mention them quite a bit. So heading towards Sunray Park, and I'm going to let you get on with the rest of the video. Hope you enjoyed it so far. Carry on watching so we end up at the Cobo. Any comments of anywhere you want to see in Guernsey, let me know. Enjoy the rest of the video, and as usual, I will see you on the next one.